Hello and welcome to Friday's Masterclass edition of Cracking the Cryptic. This is the episode each week where I get to do battle with the Times Cryptic crossword, which today is by John Guiver, and it's got a whopping high snitch, which means it's going to be brutally hard. But John is an absolutely brilliant clue writer, so I know we'll be in for a treat. Let's in fact just have a quick look at the stats. Oh my, holy moly! Okay, well that's extraordinary. So the top entry there is a typist, somebody who has probably got the answers off the internet and then entered them in. The first real entry is definitely this one, and that is our own Mark Goodliffe, the 13-time Times Crossword champion. 12 minutes, and Mark's average time, I'm guessing, is 5 minutes. So that tells you this puzzle is an absolute monster. Verlaine Matthew Marcus won the Times Crossword Championship, I think 2 years ago. Is over 12 minutes as well, and all of these other times are going to be real, but are going to sort of be double, I would guess, people's normal times. This is actually a bit terrifying. Let me just scan down a bit further. Let's see if you can get in the... Yeah, you can. Look, you can get in the top... Oh, in fact, they haven't even had 100 entries left. Dean Shaw is a brilliant solver, and 16 minutes with 2 errors. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is going to be a very, very challenging puzzle indeed. Well, that's great. That's great. That's what we're here for. Now, before we kick off, though, today, a couple of things I wanted to mention. The first is I want to congratulate Trevor. Trevor emailed us to say he's been watching these videos on Fridays for about a year, and last Saturday, Trevor completed the Times Quick Cryptic without any aids, and that is fantastic, and that heartens me and makes me think we're doing a good thing. The idea of these videos is to try and encourage people that cryptic crosswords are totally doable with a bit of practice, and if once you learn the rules. And Trevor has given me that belief. So Trevor, thank you for emailing, and sincere congratulations. Oh, and I will mention I recorded myself a few weeks ago solving a listener crossword called Listen by Eck, which was a brutal puzzle. It's a 7-video series. It's over on Patreon at the moment, and I was tipped the wink that Sabre, which is a live listener, so I'm not going to say much about it, but that puzzle might be a suitable one to try and record as well. So I have been trying to record my solve of that as well. Those videos won't go live obviously until past the closing date, when the crossword competition has done and dusted. But if you are interested in seeing me try and solve this puzzle, Spyder by Sabre, then that will be available on Patreon in due course. So I'll try and remember to put a link to our Patreon in case you're interested. It's a couple of bucks a month to join us over there. As I say, lots of extra content. I can't speak. What's that? Where was that? Was that Wayne? I want to say that was Wayne Mardell at the end of that darts leg. Anyway, I'm probably talking absolute gibberish, and it won't be the first time in this video. It was when... Was it... well, they both got a 9. No, one of them got a 9 dart leg, and the other one sort of would have got a 10 dart leg. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Have I got a dictionary? Yes. Is the dictionary in the right place? Nearly. There we go. So I think we're all good to go. We can't delay any longer. So here's my battle with John Guiver's Cryptic Crossword today. Let's get cracking. Hopefully the screen is in the right place. Yes. So 1 across. 5-3. Spurning electronics. Ponder cooler mechanical instrument. Oh goodness me. Electronics. I say this at the start of every cryptic crossword video, but it probably bears repetition. If you've never done a cryptic crossword before, you might not know this. Every single one of these clues contains a straightforward definition of the answer. That definition is almost always at the start or the end of the clue. So if we can read the clue correctly, we could actually distill this whole puzzle into a quick crossword. The rest of the clue, the bit that's not the definition of the answer, is a recipe that tells you tells you how to construct the answer by, it might be anagramming something or reversing a word or something like that. So our job, firstly, is to understand, is to be able to read the clue correctly and split it into its two component pieces, the recipe and the definition. So if we look at this, things that are instructions, recipes are instructions, aren't they? So spurning electronics, that seems to be, I think electronics might be able to be abbreviated to E. Certainly electronic can. So I'm wondering if we have to take E out of ponder. If you ponder over something, you muse about. It's music box, isn't it? Is it music box, an instrument? I think it is. I'm not certain why yet. Oh, icebox, cooler. I've done it. I've actually got that. I'm not unhappy with that. And I've got an X in the grid, which makes me think this might be a pangram, i.e. it'll contain one of every letter of the alphabet. This could be a massive get. But let's talk about how I got that. So, in fact, I say this every week, but it bears repetition. These abbreviations that we'll come across them throughout the puzzle, where a word, in this case electronics, has to be thought of in the context of its initial, E. Now, we can't look at this clue, 13, and see the word toffs and say, oh, that can be T, because it begins with T. No, it must be supported by the dictionary. Now, if we look under E in the dictionary, I'm hoping... That's interesting. It's electronic is there. Maybe electronics is under a different... It might be that my dictionary's old. That is also possible. Electronic again. Oh, okay. Well, oh, no. Okay, no, I've misunderstood the clue. Oh, well, no, I've understood it. I've sort of understood it. Electronic is E, but the clue doesn't say that. It says spurning electronics, and that's because actually we're taking two E's out, aren't we, out of the phrase. If you ponder over something, you muse about it, and the cooler is the icebox. So we've got muse, icebox, and we're taking two E's out, which is why electronics is pluralized. Now, I know some editors who wouldn't like that, and let me explain why. It's because when we looked at the dictionary there, we couldn't find electronics being abbreviated to double E, could we? So we're having to think about the clue. We're having to realise that actually it's two abbreviations for the word electronic that is being signalled by the word electronics. And some editors will say that's a bit naughty. I quite like it, but anyway, I just mentioned that as a sort of a technical point about clue writing. So, muse icebox, mechanical instrument, is a music box, one of those things you wind up and then it plays music. Okay, so there we go. Hopefully that was clear, as many of you are probably saying. Let's have a look at one down. 6 letters, beginning with M. Title, possibly. Mikado? Madam? Adopted by male film producer. Okay, I don't know what this is. But if we try and work out how to read the clue, which side of the clue do we think is the definition here? Is it title? Title, possibly? Or is it producer, or perhaps film producer? And I don't know. I think it might be just the word producer. And the reason I'm thinking that is I could read the rest of the clue as a recipe. If I could think of a 3-letter word for a title, possibly. I'm not sure what that would be, but let's say there was such a word. That's being adopted by male. Well, male can be abbreviated to M. And film. You often see film in cryptic crosswords being E.T., which is now, I guess, quite an old film, but it still makes a regular appearance. I'm wondering, maybe this ends E.T., and the whole thing means a producer. I mean, I don't love that, to be honest, as a passing of the clue. I'm not sure it's right, but that's the best I've got, and it's not giving me the answer. So should we go for 10 across? It would give me so many checking letters. Let's go for 10 across. Let's YOLO. Right, 627. Oscar for supporting role. Second in command is going to be the correct. Right, so, okay, I mean, I don't know where that's come from, but it's right, isn't it? The moment I saw supporting role second in command, and then you realise that the second letter in the word command is O, and Oscar, if we look at Oscar in the dictionary, we will see it's the international radio code word for the letter O is a code word for the letter O in international radio communications. So second in command is going straight in. Let's go back here. Is this musket? A producer? That's not a musket. Title. Possibly. Film producer. I mean, a film producer might be something that produces a film, not in the sense of a movie, but in the sense you get a mist would be a film, wouldn't it? A mister. Oh. I mean, that's ridiculous. That is the answer. I'm sorry. I mean, it's outrageous. It's outrageous, this one. Okay, so this is an example. I said that every clue has a recipe. Now, some clues are what we call double definitions, which means that one side of the clue is a definition of the answer, and the other side of the clue is the definition of the answer. And this is one of those, but it's very hard to see. If we cut the clue after the word male and read the first bit, title possibly adopted by male. Well, that's Mr., isn't it? That's literally what the word means. But something that produces a film is a Mr. as well. I don't actually know if that meaning will be supported by the dictionary. It might almost be due a question mark. Mr. See, no, it's there, isn't it? See, Mr. A spray gun with a fine nozzle used to apply moisture to the foliage of indoor plants. So it's something that, will produce a film of water on the plants is a mister. That's a great clue. Impossible unless you get very lucky. But we did, and that's great. So 11 across, 7 letters beginning with E. Better half by England's left back. I mean, these clues. Better half. I mean, it reads like it's a sort of a commentary on a football match. Better half. Your better half is your sort of spouse, isn't it? I want this to be a spouse. No, it is. I was going to say I want it to be a spouse. I think it is a spouse. I've now understood why. It's a brilliant clue again, honestly. And the skill here that John has is when we read the clue, it's incredibly difficult to split it in the correct position, because when we see the phrase left back, especially given the whole context of the sentence, we're reading better half by England's left back, it's very hard, for my brain at least, to say, no, this is nothing to do with a left back in football. We have to cut between the word left and the word back. And what we're looking for here is a 7-letter word that means back. And if you back something, you support it, you espouse. You can espouse a cause, can't you? How is it espouse? Why is the recipe giving us espouse? Well, your better half is your spouse, and that is put next to England's left. Well, the left side of the word England is E, so that's giving us this E. E spouse, espouse. It's fantastic setting, honestly. Right, but now we should have a much better chance. I was going to say sandpaper, but that doesn't have a C there. I can't. Oh, sycophant would fit. That's probably right. 1 sucking up, 2 down. So we could do that without looking at the clue. We just looked at this strange collection of letters, and it looked like sycophant. You see the start of the clue. Mavericks flying over. Sorry for the aircraft noise. 1 sucking up is a sycophant. But why? Let's try and understand it. Liquid on sides of Cornish pasty, or pasty perhaps. Liquid. It must be. It's some sort of anagram. Liquid. Yeah, no, it is. It's just an anagram. So, again, it's just, the use of language here. I can't tell you how much I admire it. I have written a lot of cryptic crosswords in my life, and I would give a lot to be able to write clues like this. It is very, very gifted stuff. Liquid is saying we're going to treat what follows in a liquid way, i.e. a sort of movable way. And what we're going to treat as movable is the word on, the sides of the word Cornish, which are C and H, and the word pasty. And that is the anagram fodder we need for sycophant, which is 1 sucking up. Let's try 3 down. 7 letters. Unknown, refused to challenge, inferior, not interior, inferior to do best. Conquer? That would give us a Q in our pangram. Unknown, refused to challenge, inferior to do best. I mean, if you best somebody, you do conquer them. I don't understand why, though. I really have no clue. That is how you spell conquer, isn't it? Yeah. I do believe, partially dyslexic, even though Mark refuses to believe me. Unknown, refused to challenge, inferior to do. Query would be. I mean, yeah, this is right. This is so difficult. I cannot tell you. If you are new to cryptic crosswords, what I'm about to say is going to sound like absolute gibberish. And all I will say is that to somebody who's been solving these clues for decades, this is so difficult. It's brilliant, but it's so difficult. So do not worry if this just seems mad. Okay, but the answer is conquer, and the recipe is complicated. This is not a recipe. This is not a recipe I would give myself as somebody who is notoriously terrible in the kitchen. I would not be capable of constructing this recipe if it was the equivalent in food. But in crossword terms, what is going on? To challenge is to query someone. If you query them, you challenge them. And in the word query, there is the letter Y. Now, if you see the word unknown in a cryptic crossword clue, it's almost always hinting at X, Y, or Z, which are mathematical unknowns. You know, if we do an equation, we might write X squared plus Y squared equals Z squared or something. So unknown, the Y, is refused in the word for to challenge. So the query loses its Y. That gives us QUER, and that is inferior to, so it's underneath, it's a down clue, so it's inferior to a word that means do. And if you do somebody in the sense of you scam them, you con them. So con, it goes on top of queer, and that gives conquer, which means best. Not easy at all, but we're definitely, I think, looking for a pangram. So Z's and J's are going to be the order of the day. Now, is this oxide? Oh, no, maybe it's not. I don't know, actually. Let's see what's going on. 4 down. 5 letters. Volunteer, thought, cardinal, collars, irrational. Oh, opine. Okay, this comes up remarkably often as well. See the word irrational here. You may think, oh, irrational, somebody's being, nonsensical. No. Well, it's true. That's what they would be being. But if you see irrational in a cryptic crossword clue, it's so often the word pi, P-I, because pi, mathematically, is an irrational number. It goes on forever. You can't express it as a fraction. So 3.14159 something is going to be pi. Opine. So how does... I haven't actually even worked out how the rest of this works yet. Volunteer. If you volunteer a thought, you opine. Cardinal. So a cardinal number is numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th, as opposed to ordinals, which would be like 6th, 7th, 8th, I think. So 1 goes in collars, so takes inside, captures pi, and gives a pine. And somehow we have got the northwest corner done, and I'm reasonably pleased about that, but also terrified, because we had a great start with Music Box and Second in Command. And if we don't get that great start in the other quadrants, we're likely to be in a lot more trouble. Do we look at, let's go for 5 across. 6 letters. Middle Easterner, visiting nearby land, borders to the west. Middle Easterner, visiting nearby land, borders to the west. I've got a few ideas about this, but none of them seem to be going anywhere. No, I'm really struggling with... No, I don't know. I think this might be the name of a Middle Eastern person, like Omani or something, or Qatari. Oh, Qatari. Qatari would just be good. I'm just going to put that in. Qatari would be good because it's got a Q in it, although we've already had a Q. It couldn't be a double pangram. Well, it's very unlikely to be, but let's just... Atar. Middle Eastern, visiting nearby land, borders to the west. I mean, no, it's got so little to do with what I was thinking. But anyway, so let's say the answer is some sort of Middle Eastern. How could the rest of it work? Visiting nearby land. Well, that might mean... So if the answer was Qatari, then visiting a nearby land to Qatar might be somewhere like Oman. So visiting O-M-A-N might be the borders. This isn't going to work, but the borders to the word the. The word the borders are T and E, and then west could be W. So if I could think of a Middle Easterner containing the letters T, E, and W, I would be very confident. Yeah, it's not right again, but Yemeni is now in my mind. I don't know. I mean, and this could all be total nonsense. It might mean there might be a word that means to the west or something. Occidentally or something. I don't know. I haven't got a clue what that is, sorry. 9 down. 8 letters. Round of drinking. Quietly stems. Short row. Helping to cool one down. Round of drinking? What's a round of drinking? Quietly stems. Short row. I mean, short row is horrible because because row can be read as row. So it might be a word like tiff. If you have a tiff with somebody, you row with them, and then you're shortening that, so it would be TIF. I mean, I haven't got a clue. I have not got a clue what that is. We really should try and use the letters we've got. Let's go for 6 down, 7 letters. Starmer lost support of one member. Again, I mean, a very evocative clue, given what's going on in the UK at the moment. Starmer lost support of one member. I mean, what can Starmer be apart from Kia? It must be Kia, mustn't it? Starmer. I can't quite work out how the clue works, though. Starmer is PM? Lost support. Oh, unless it's an anagram of Starmer, is it? If the letters of Starmer are treated in a lost way, they could be anagrammed, then the definition would have to be support of one member. Armrest. Oh goodness, it is. It's armrest. Oh, that's brilliant. That's just to spot that Starmer anagram to armrest is one thing. But to express it like that, support of one member, so that it has such redolence with the word Starmer, that's the skill. That is the skill. That is brilliant again. So, all right, let's go for 7 down. We've only got a checking A here, which is probably not going to get us the answer, but we'll go for it. 5 letters. Time, wide, ace served with spin on the ball. It's not, but I want it to be something like alert. If you're on the ball, you're sort of with it, aren't you? Wide from cricket scoring can be W. So okay, if you're watching this from anywhere in the world that doesn't play cricket, I'm really sorry, but there are loads of weird cricket references in Cryptic Crosswords. Time can be T, so TW, ace can be A, served with spin. Or with spin on the ball? Served with... I don't know, I want that to begin TWA, but then all I can think of really is twang or something like that, and I don't see why that's the answer. Let's try 8 down, which is 8 letters. In need of one good charging space at front of line. In need of one good charging space at front of line. I've just got no. I am trying. I promise. I'm trying to work out how to read the clue. If I was guessing, I would say the definition was front of line, but it might not be. I know. I don't know. So okay, we're immediately getting stuck in the northeast, which is terrible. Let's try 7 letters, 12 across. Make too much of old deficient border guards, for example. That's going to be over something. Make too much of over deficient border guards, for example. Over egg? Over, if you make something, that's got E. The only reason I think that might be right is it's got EG. A verge is a border. Yeah, okay. So this is right. If we make too much of something, we over egg it. Why is the recipe giving us this word? Well, old, if we look under O in the dictionary, there, straight away, old. So that's giving us this O. A deficient border, a border of something is the verge of it. V-E-R-G-E. And that's deficient. So if you see a word like deficient or short or cut, anything like that, almost by convention, it will mean remove the last letter. And that's something that I think is probably not understood or not appreciated by a lot of people who are new to Cryptic Crosswords, because if we treat a word as being deficient, we might say, well, what does it mean? Does it mean it misses its middle letter, or could it miss any letter? It almost always, in my experience, means remove the last letter. So that gives us V-E-R, this G here, because the shortened verge, verg, is guarding, so it's encompassing, it's surrounding, for example, which is obviously EG. And at least we've got another entry there. Let's go for 15 now. which is 5 letters again. Superman, repelled, untold number, up to no good. Superman. Clark? I don't know, is it cool, like Clark Kent? Superman. Repelled, untold number, up to no good. I want this so that the way I'm reading the recipe here is I have to repel, so I have to reverse a word for an untold number of something. So a word like a host of things or a lot of them. That would give TOL, wouldn't it? And that goes up to no good. So no good I think can be NG, but that's obviously no good if we've put TOL at the start of the word. Superman. Why can't I get that? I mean, oh, Titan? A Titan might be a Superman. Let's just have a look at that for a moment. Repelled? Yeah, okay, I think this is Titan. Here's my explanation. You can make of this what you will. I think we're repelling an untold number. I think it might be just the letter N. So if we said to the nth degree, we would mean to some degree that we can't really tell you, but it's a lot, wouldn't we? So I think N is an untold number. And then if you're up to no good, you're at it, which is a phrase which can have all sorts of euphemistic meanings, but I think up to no good would be included. So I think that's what's going on. And a Titan being a Superman feels relatively likely, doesn't it? Right, so let's revisit. I'm trying to do this without looking back at the clue, because if I can think of a word that fits, it's probably going to be right. Oh, come on, Simon. I can't think of any words that fit. Right, let's go back to the clue then. In need of one. Good charging space at front of line. Is it some sort of line, like a tangent, but it's obviously not a tangent. Something else. Space at the front. Is that sort of like a military reference? Oh, I think my brain is close to getting this, but it's being annoying and it won't tell me the answer. Sorry. I can't think. I just can't think of a word that fits. No, I can't. All right, let's try 16 down. So 3-6. Clear up place for cooking. Assorted red jams outside cafe. Clear up place for cooking. What's that then? Is that doing the dishes or something? Assorted red jams outside cafe. Is it the name of a cafe? Tea garden. I mean, if it's tea garden, I have no idea why. I'm going to put that in because I like the fact that it fits. Clear up place for cooking. Assorted. What is this? Assorted red jam. Oh, I wonder if actually if it's an anagram of red. No, because that's a T at the start. What's the place for cooking? The Arga. An Arga is a type of oven. I used to have an Arga. I used to have a coal-fired Arga. And that was a terrifying thing. And I had it for about 10 years. And so the coal man used to have to come and deliver the coal, and then every day you had to fill the oven with coal. And this wasn't that long ago in my life. And then you had to griddle the coal, the sort of ashes out at the end. And that thing kept the whole house warm. It was an amazing, amazing contraption. Anyway, I'm digressing. Clear up. Place for cooking. Place for cooking, assorted red. Could be arga and then an anagram of red. And that would have 10 outside. Oh, goodness. Okay, right. I've now understood the clue. You have to cut it after the word jams. And tea garden is an outside cafe. Now, the way this works, again, it's brutally difficult. Clear up here. If you're a business and you clear something, that's your profit, isn't it? And so it's the net result. So net means clear, but we turn it upwards because it's a down clue. And the reversal of the word net is the word 10. And then jamming the word 10, i.e. inside, jammed inside it, we have a place for cooking, arga, and an anagram, assorted anagram of the word red. I mean, it's quite brilliant and quite impossible, but at least we've solved it. Now let's go for 13. 5-3. Toffs seem to do this to win. Toffs seem to do this to win, to carry the day, to... Toffs seem to do this. This could be... Toffs has got the word off in it, which makes me want to write off here. You know, I'm wondering if this is some sort of play on the linguistic form or the literal form of the word toffs. To win is to something off. Carry off? Yeah, why not that? Why not? I think that's fair. If you carry off something, you achieve it, you win it. And the word toffs is seen to carry within it the word off, so it carries off. I think that's fine. I think it's very clever. Not of me, I hasten to add. But let's go to 9 down again, which we've looked at once and didn't understand, but we've now got an F in it. Let's try it firstly, and I think this is a good thing to do. Don't look at the clue. When you get a new letter like this, just look at the letter. Just look at this and see if you can think of a word that fits. And I can't. I'm wondering if it might end full. F-U-L. I don't know. Not sure. Scoopful. You get a scoopful of ice cream? Yeah. How about that? Helping to cool one down. That could be a scoopful. It would be a helping of ice cream. That's exactly what a scoopful would be. Now, I don't know why the recipe's giving us that, but round of drinking quietly stems short row or row. Round of drinking quietly stems. Okay, I think I have nearly got this. And again, I am going to claim that this is absolutely unsolvable unless you have... If anyone watching this video, assuming this becomes a video, if anybody watches this video and says, oh yes, I just wrote in scoopful, without checking letters, or even just from the C, can you tell me how you did that? Because this is absolute gibberish. Right. This is my explanation. The short row, let's start with that. If you scull, you row, don't you? So sculling is a form of rowing. So S-C-U-L, I think, is the short row part of this. Now, round of drinking quietly. I think round is the letter O, which I think is defined in the dictionary. We'll check this in a minute as anything round. Of is just that of there. And that drinks quietly, which is so often P in cryptic crosswords from musical scores. If you saw P on a musical score, it would mean, is it pianissimo or piano or something? It means play quietly. So, round of drinking quietly, drinking the P. So O of P stems. So is sort of put inside the shortened form of the word skull, and that the whole thing is a helping. And the fact that helping there is a noun, it's because we're saying a helping of ice cream that would help to cool one down would be a scoopful. It's just it's sick, is what it is. Now. Okay, so let's go for 14 down. So 233 on the job would fit. Noted readily available houses border sower or sewer plants. Noted readily available on tap houses border. I mean, again, I'm sorry, and I know I'm probably giving less. It's because I can't read these clues and immediately know, how to split them. I don't know. Again, I think this might mean noted. But I mean, how could 233 be defined by sewer plants or sower plants? Oh, crick in my neck. Readily available. I really like on tap for readily available. Okay, well let's try and split up on tap then. Maybe because that would give on the. We could do that, couldn't we? On the. And what's that third word? On the wrap. On the. Readily available houses. Border sewer plants. Border. On the map. Hem is a border. But there's too many words in the clue. What's going on? If you're noted, you're. Oh, no. I understand. Okay, I do understand. There is, I could sit here all day and I would not do justice to these clues. They are brilliant. They are just brilliant. Okay, I'm sure many of you have seen what John's done here already, and I didn't see it, but now I have seen it. I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's panache is what it is. If you ever watch the film Cyrano de Bergerac, and the last two words, mon panache. This is what we are seeing here. It's scintillating setting. So, noted. If you're noted, you're on the map. That's the definition. The recipe, readily available, is on tap. And that's housing the word hem. And the word hem is a border that a sewer plants. So somebody who embroiders, a sewer would plant, would create, if you like, the hem. So border sewer plants. Oh. And obviously, you can read that as border sewer plants. Noted readily available houses. Border sewer plants. I mean, the fact that if we read the clue differently, it's perfectly possible, isn't it, that that there would be readily available houses bordering sewer plants, because nobody wants to live near sewer plants, but that's not how to read the clue to solve it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm able to articulate clearly just how impressed I am that you can you can do that with language. It's extraordinary. It is absolutely extraordinary. Now, okay, I've got to carry on. Let's have a look at 20 across, which is 8 letters. Protection when deburring metal is mandatory. I should have looked at the clue before I looked at looked at it before I looked at the clue. Protection when deburring. I mean, that's probably the definition. I don't know what deburring is. A burr is that like a lump on a trunk or something? That could be total rubbish. Metal is mandatory. Oh, no, I've got this. It's okay. There's almost always at least one of these in every Times crossword. I believe there can be 2 nowadays if one of them is reversed, but this is the hidden. I'm just trying. Okay, hang on. It definitely is the hidden. The answer is talisman. I'm just trying to understand why. I don't understand. I don't understand. It's because I don't know what deburring means, but I'm definitely sure the answer is talisman, because I can see hidden in metal is mandatory, TALISMAN. But something I say every week about a hidden clue is the constructor can't just hide the answer in the clue and say to the solver, oh, you've just got to spot it's there. The constructor has to tell you that they've hidden the answer in the clue. Now, typically, a constructor of, I'm not going to say of less skill, but one way you could do that is just use the word in. So imagine this clue read, protection in metal is mandatory. Then it's clearly saying hidden in the string of letters metal is mandatory is the answer that means the word protection. But that's not what John's done here. John's got protection when deburring, and I'm going to have to look up what deburring means because I don't know. Debur. Okay, so to remove... that wasn't a million miles away. To remove the rough edges from... Okay. So I think this is saying remove the edges from the phrase metal is mandatory, and you'll be left just with the inner piece of it, which is the word, the letters talisman spelt out. And a talisman is a general protection. It doesn't have to be sort of a protection from witchcraft or anything, does it? I think it's just a general... It can be used as a general thing for protection. An object supposed to be endued with magical powers and able to protect. So defining it as a protection seems very reasonable. Now, where should we go? Should we go for 21 down? 7 letters. Gush about place to spend big. Splurge is the answer. I don't know where it came from, but it's the answer. Can you see why? Sorry, I just said it. I mean, I don't like to do that. I like to try and sort of talk through the clues, but for some reason that jumped in my head, and it's turned out it is correct. To spend big, obviously, is to splurge. How does the rest of it work? Well, place can be abbreviated to PL, place. So we've got PL in surge, and if something gushes, it surges. So that gives us splurge, and it's another answer ticked off. Shall we go for this one? 4-2 in all. I want that to be bridge, but it probably isn't. Bridle. I'm going to have to read the clue. That is the conventional way of solving cryptic crosswords, is actually to read the clues. Oh, jack of all trades, handyman. Oh, well, that's very nice. That gives us a J as well. Jack of all trades. Okay, handyman. I don't know why yet. Locating gemstones around rockfall at base. Okay, gemstones are going to be jades, aren't they? Jade is a type of gemstone. So locating gemstones around... it's probably an anagram of rockfall at. Because if you treat the letters of rockfall at in a base way, if you treat some... Base means sort of demeaning and... if you treat poorly, you would treat them in a base way, I think. And that's why I think it is a valid anagram indicator. Let's just have a look. Could be under... Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I mean, if you saw a word like vile or worthless, counterfeit, I mean, these are all words that could be used as anagram indicators. So let's just check we've got enough. We've got a 15-letter word. Rockfall at is 10 letters, and jades plural is 5 letters. So that is going to be the anagram fodder, and we are good there. And we have a J, and we haven't had a Z. Let's try 17 down. 5-3. High Flyers project involving work over in Middle East. High Flyers project. I imagine this is the name of a bird, like a jack... No, I was going to... Oh, a nightjar is a bird. Project involving work over in Middle East. I don't know why it's nightjar. It might not be, but let's put nightjar in and see if we can justify it. High Flyer, nightjar. Project. Project? Sorry, I can't do this at the moment. Project involving work over in Middle East. I don't know. I think nightjar's probably not right then. I'm not even sure nightjar is 2 words, but I think a nightjar is a bird. Project. But if something projects, it juts, doesn't it? So project involving work over. I want that to have OP in it, or so hang on, how does this work? So if there was the word jut here, I can't make any sense of this in terms of, I can't construct things that I believe could be words. Project involving work over. So I want it to be something like this. It's just nonsense. I don't know. No, I think it's nonsense. Sorry, I can't do that one basically yet, or maybe at all. But let's have a look at 18 across 5 letters. Extremist united with 10 gunmen. Okay, now this is I don't know what the answer to this is, but I do want to talk about it. It's actually, I have got this. I'm just check. Yeah, okay, I have got this. I want to talk about the use of 10, the numeral 10 here. Now, if you see that in a crossword, there are basically two ways you can treat a number that's written using numerals. The first is, it could be the Roman numeral for the number 10, which is X. That's very possible. But when it's written like this, it could also be a reference to the clue answer at 10 across in this instance, which is second in command. You have to be aware of both of those possibilities. Now, it's actually that second one here. So we're looking for the name of an extremist, and I think it's Ultra. And the way it works is United is U, as in, say, Man U. If somebody said Man U are playing today, you'd know they meant Man United. a lieutenant, or a lieutenant if you prefer, is a second in command. I probably, I mean, I know nothing about the army, but I think that's probably true. And then gunman here is RA. Now this is one of the hardest things, I think, if you're new to cryptic crosswords, to get your head around, is how many short abbreviations there are for army units. RA for Royal Artillery, RE for Royal Engineers, OR, other ranks. I mean, there's just loads of them, and you have to be prepared for many of them to be possible. But here we're looking for an extremist, so I think it must be ultra. Let's go for 19 down, which is 7 letters. Largely barren region, avoiding Eastern America. A largely barren region. I was thinking of Arizona. Arizona. Yeah, hang on. Oh, I mean, I think this is lunacy. This might be an and lit, I think. I'm not sure. It's got arid and zone in it somehow. Largely barren, mostly arid. I mean, it's unbelievably clever, this. This is unbelievably clever. Now, I said at the start, all clues can be split up into a recipe part and a definitional part. There is one important exception. But it comes up so rarely, and it's called an and lit clue. And this is an and lit clue. Now, an and lit clue, the whole clue is the definition of the answer, and the whole clue is also the recipe. So let's read the whole clue and see whether it could define the word Arizona. Largely barren region avoiding Eastern America. Well, Arizona is on the west side of America. So, and it is a largely barren region. It's mostly desert. So it is defined by this. But in terms of wordplay, we want the word barren can be arid. So largely the word barren, or the word for barren, is most of it. So we chop off the last letter again. ARI. A region is a zone, ZONE, but that avoids Eastern. Eastern can be abbreviated to E. And then America can be abbreviated to A. So we get Arizona from the recipe and Arizona from the definition. I mean, well, it's incredible. It's incredible setting this. Right, 5 down. Not 5 down, 24 down, 5 letters. Set me up with spot on the microphone. This must be MC, I think. It might be another and lit. If you set the word me up, you reverse it in a down clue, don't you? If it's going up, it would become EM. Oh yeah. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. With spot on the microphone. Is it? The skill involved in these clues, it's blowing my mind. It set me up with the spot on the microphone. It does define MC. It's another unlit. If you spot somebody, you see them, don't you? How would you spell C in that context? SEE. But it sounds exactly the same as the letter C, which is spelt like this, CEE. So if we heard the word SEE on the microphone, it would sound the same. So this is a homophone for the word SEE, which is CEE, and we put that under the M to create MC, which is somebody who you might set up with a spot on the microphone. I mean, okay, this is getting ridiculous. 23 across, 7 letters. Coverage of the 60s is what one's following live. What? Coverage of the 60s is what... Oh, yes, something I just wanted to say about this clue. If this clue had read Extremist United with 10, and 10 had been TEN, gunman, then it wouldn't have been referencing this clue. That's just a convention. It'll always be written as numbers if it's referring to a different clue. Coverage of the 60s is what one's following live. Okay, I don't know what this is, but coverage of the 60s. I wonder if this is something that covered people up in the 60s, so it's a piece of clothing. Like I want to say beehive, or I'm not very good at 60s clothing. I wasn't alive in the 60s. Coverage of the 60s. I should have been alive in the 60s. I think I would have been a good child of the 60s, and all the music I like is basically from the 60s, so that would have gone down a treat. Is what one's following. Okay, be something, I think, is the answer here, because is what one's, whatever that means, I don't know what that means yet, but that follows a word that means live, and if you live, you be. So be, I think, so is it coverage of the 60s, beehive, beeline, I just don't know it, I don't think. I think I might get it, though. Is what one's... Yeah, it's beehive. I mean, again, the wording of this clue is so clever. Coverage of the 60s is... So is doing the duty of sort of an equals sign here. We can create a coverage of the 60s, which must be a beehive. Oh, I see, it's a hairdo. So it's not clothing. I think I have heard of a beehive hairdo. Yeah, so and that's a coverage in the sense of it's something that's on your head, isn't it? So beehive equals is what? Now what here, if you said what to somebody, you go, what? And that's EH. It's sort of a comic book exclamation. One's, i.e. possessive, what one has, I've. I apostrophe VE is the same as one's, isn't it? So I've follows B for beehive. This is just unbelievable. Nightjar has been well and truly kiboshed. Mumbo Jumbo Jet. I was going to say Mumbo Jumbo. What? High Flyer, Jumbo Jet. Must be Jumbo Jet, mustn't it? But why? Project, maybe Jut, involving work over in Middle East. Yes, okay, a piece of work would be a job, and that's turned over in a down clue within ME, which must be abbreviation for the Middle East, and that's all included in the word jut, J-U, and then the T at the end, and to jut is to project. So it's not a double pangram, is it? Because I'm just noticing we've got two J's here. I'm just going to pause and think about whether this could be a double pangram. We've got a lot of unpleasant letters to get in for that to be achieved. Yeah, there was a puzzle I did on the channel years and years ago. I want to say it was by Monk. And I want to say, and this might be a lie, that it was a quintuple pangram in a normal grid. So it had 5 of every letter of the alphabet. And I remember I was absolutely astonished. I mean, a double pangram is hard enough to do. And it's almost impossible to do without using really sort of recherche language. But Monk did it with 5 of each, I think. Anyway, let's look at this one. Toe cap might fit. 27, 3-3. What criminal minds loathe when back on the outside? The bill or something. What criminal minds loathe when back on the outside? It must be some euphemism for the police, isn't it? What criminal? Oh no, hang on. I'm wondering if it's an anagram of what. Wouldn't this be lovely? I haven't quite understood how it works, or even what the answer is. But here is a possible reading of the clue. What criminal could be saying, let's treat the letters of what in a criminal way, let's anagram them, and they will mind, they will look after, they will cosset, they will surround, loathe when back, and the whole thing will mean on the outside. Now if that was right, we could put, so what, oh see, that's going to be there, and then loathe. Oh, loathe when back on the outside. That could the law. Oh my goodness! It's another unlit. This is just showing off. This whole crossword. This is the third unlit, and they've all been absolutely incredible. What criminal minds loathe when back on the outside? Does the law, they would always be on the lookout for the law, wouldn't they? But the way the wordplay is constructed, the recipe works here. So what is treated in a criminal way? It minds the word loathe when backwards on the outside. So we only take the outside pieces of the word loathe, which are L and E, and we put them backwards inside the anagram of what, and we create the law. I mean, isn't it sad? I'm going to digress for a moment. But isn't it sad that there are a gazillion people who speak English in the world who will never know about this puzzle? They will never look at that clue. They will never know how clever some people can be. I do think that's sad, because I think lots of people, if it was explained to them, would just go, that cannot exist. That cannot be right. And yet it is. It's mathematically beautiful, that clue. Because the grammar of it works in these two distinct ways to produce this double effect. It's quite extraordinary. Anyway, where should we go? Let's go 25 down. 5 letters. People abandoning foxtrot. Entertained by dad dot. Is it polka? I think it is. It's folk without F. I've got one. Got one quickly. It's got a K in it. So people of folk, they abandon foxtrot. Now again, we looked earlier at the International Radio Alphabet. I'm pretty sure foxtrot is F. You may have heard it in certain euphemistic phrases to mean unpleasant things. A code word for the letter F. So where's the clue gone? 25. So people, folk, abandoning the F, entertained by dad, or your dad is your father, your pa, P-A, and then the dance is the polka. Right, we're going to go for 25 across. 7 letters. Old Earl in loose gym clothes fell. Old Earl in loose gym clothes. I'm not sure. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to work out how this works. Loose gym clothes. Gym in cryptic crosswords is very often PE. And this phrase gym clothes makes me want to do that, which would mean that we're looking for a word that means fell, probably. Old Earl in loose. Old Earl. Earl can be E. I haven't. Nah, I don't know. It's a weird clue again. The thing is, it's weird, but we know once we understand it, it'll make perfect sense. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm going to get. Well, I'm going to go for 22 down, 6 letters. Limited accommodation. It's capped by county. Limited accommodation, like bedsit or beds is a county. Yeah, that's it. Bedsit. Okay, beds is an abbreviation for Bedfordshire, the county. So beds, and it is literally the word it. But it has been capped. It's a down clue. So putting a cap on it, the cap is the word beds, gives bedsit, which is a limited accommodation. Now, this is horrible now, because Polax is what it is. That is to fell. Has got another X in it. Now, why though? Lax is loose. Oh, that's it. Old, right. Old is O again. Earl is E, but E is in a word that means loose. That word is lax. And then Jim clothes that. So PE clothes all of that we've just said. And the whole thing means fell. Let's read this again. Old Earl in loose Jim clothes fell. I mean, again, if you spent a year trying to improve that clue for the word Polax, you couldn't do it. Old Earl in loose gym clothes fell. It is absolutely mind-blowing. Now, we must be able to get this, please. 28, 8 letters. Left in fog with head that may be cracked. Something nut? Oh, no, hazelnut. Hazelnut is what this is. And that's got another Z in it. We have had a Z, haven't we? Arizona. It might be a double pangram. I haven't had a second Q. If that was Qatari, I'd have a second Q. Sorry, but let's go back to this one. Hazelnut. Left is L. In fog with head. Well, fog is haze with head, and a euphemism for the head is your nut. And hazelnut obviously is something that may be cracked with nutcrackers. So indigent or something would fit here. It's up front of line. Could this be Qatari? And the only reason I'm thinking that is I've got 2 J's, definitely. I've got 2 Z's. I've got 2 X's. It's possible this is a double pangram. If it was, this would be an A in 27, sorry, in 7 down. 5 letters. Time wide, ace served with spin on the ball. What do they call? Oh, English. I'm just thinking of like, what do they call? Or bias. Bias is a word for the way a ball spins, isn't it? Oh, my back is bad today. Time wide. Time wide, ace served with spin. On the ball. Aware. Aware is going to be the answer here. Yeah. If you're on the ball, you're aware. And that works, doesn't it? Because time is era, E-R-A. Wide is W from cricket scoring. Ace is A from cards. You'd often see him, if somebody's explaining a hand of bridge to you, they'd use A to represent the card, the ace. And that's all served with spin. Well, if you spin something, you turn it upside down. or back to front. And that gives aware, which is on the ball. Now, okay, I'm going to put Qatari in. I don't know why. I just think it is, because it's got a Q in it. It's not a very good reason. Middle Easterner. Visiting nearby land. Borders to the west. Iraq. Hang on, it's got to be. It's something to do with that, isn't it? It's got Iraq. What's TA doing in this? Oh, if you're visiting, you're at. Yeah. Okay, so if you're visiting, you're at something, but the nearby land to Qatar is Iraq, and that's bordering at, and the whole thing goes west, so is reversed, and that gives Qatari. Now we've only got this one to get. I can think of that. I think indigent is a word, isn't it? So I think that will be the answer, but I don't know why. And I'm not totally sure I know what indigent means. Indigent population, isn't it? In need of one good. In need of one good. Charging. Space at front of line. Oh, the space at the front of a line is the indent. Yeah, okay, it must mean in need of. One good is this one, I, Roman numeral for the number 1. That G can be good as an abbreviation. And that charges, if you charge a glass, you fill it. So it fills a word which is the space at the front of a line, which is the indent, and that gives indigent, and that must mean in need of. So I think I'm confusing indigent with another word in my brain. Impoverished, in need. Yeah, so what am I confusing it with? Oh, can't. Well, it's gone. It's not surprising I can't remember. But there we go. We finished it, I think. Let's see if we're correct. Submit without leaderboard. I mean, yeah, it had to be right. It had to be right, didn't it? Because the puzzle was too good for it not to be. That is one of the greatest puzzles I've ever solved. That's a normal times crossword. The sheer vivacity of that cluing. I cannot overstate how clever it is. I cannot overstate it. It is just phenomenal. And I bet you there are, well, I'm pretty certain there are constructors who watch these videos who they may even drop a comment just to say, yeah, you know, that is a piece of art. It really is extraordinary. Now, I've taken my time over that, partly because it was so hard. But I will now try and race on the Times Quick Cryptic. Let's see how we go with this. Let's get cracking on this one. Who's it by? It's by Kybos. Second husband over wife's performance. I want that to be show. I think it probably is. Come after job daughter had. Come after post or pro. I don't know. Bother. Laugh about covering America and European cost haulage, I'm pretty sure. Keep an eye out for one with watch. Lively coach beginning to train swimmer. Don't know. Bath, clean. Scottish legend to take part. Nessie is a Scottish legend. Expert finally stops. Endless fun in coup de grace. No idea. Waiter's ability is rustling up nice pate. Oh, a waiter's ability is patience, actually. A large gun panic. Oh, I was going to say alert, but panic alarm. Oh, yeah, that's right. 1 in every 2 Coming back flash after leaving. There's a lot going on there. That's half, actually. My brain deciphered that on the way out. Expert. Skillful. Finally stops endless fun. In coup de grace. Kill? Yeah, maybe. One who uses maneuver to stop military engineers retreat. One who uses employer? Maybe? Ploy, I think it is that. Join after dropping new friend forever. Eternally? Probably. It saves sailors. Lighthouse and passengers fail to be moved. Don't know. Remote force returns. Far RAF. Lifeboat then, or life raft. I don't know. Proposed police officer leaves Tories. Don't know. Flash sucker. Don't know. Penny leaves fruit for every person. That's each. Peach. Old-fashioned chief advanced in charge. Archaic. Oh, goodness me. So it's probably lifeboat. Propose. I still can't see it. Sucker is a tick. Gosh, that's not easy. Oh, if you table something, you propose it. Cheery start to unknown. Piano. Hit. Up something. Cheery. Upbeat. B in this one. Trouble is I'd burst all over the place. Disturb, I think. Chat about a great story. Saga. Shorten leg wear tight. Empty out all contents of bevy. Evacuate is the answer there. That's this one. Characteristic of mounted US soldier's personality. I don't know. Come on. Post date. I bet. What was this one? Personality. Signature? Foreign characters. ISP. Okay. Lively. Bustling. Yeah, that's going to be right. Okay, I mean, I've guessed a couple of those in the interests of trying to do it quickly. But it's probably not. Okay, so that's not too bad. 8th out of 169, so not terrible. Within 12 seconds of mark with a bit of commentary, so I will very much take that. And yeah, what an addition that is today. Absolutely, I mean, that's a very good puzzle by Kybos, but this puzzle by John Guiver will live in my memory for a long time. It was absolutely brilliant. Let me know in the comments how you got on with it. I'd love to see some plaudits for John. I really would. Please remember to like and subscribe. Let's keep these videos going if we can. I'd love to do that. And maybe check out my Solve of Sabre in due course over on Patreon. Thanks for watching. Back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.